Go. And yes, welcome, Sikieng. You have the floor.
Thank you, Christina. Thanks for having me today, and thanks everyone. Allow me to share my screen. Okay. So when I was a little girl, I often had only white rice and soy sauce for breakfast. According to society, I was poor. But at that time, I didn't know about society yet, so I was living happily. So at about the age of 7, my parents sent me to a public school in Cambodia. So the public school in Cambodia is free for everyone. I was fortunate that my parents sent me to school, and I started to love education, and I enjoy learning so much. But at the age around 13 or 14, my mom came and told me that, "Hey, daughter, we could not afford to send you to university." And at that time, I knew that I was really poor. But I love education so much. I need to find a way to pursue my study at university. So the only one way that I can continue to university is through applying for the Cambodian government scholarship. So I studied very hard at that time, and finally I got the full scholarship to study at Royal University of Phnom Penh, majoring computer science. And because I love education, I really want to pursue my master's degree. And then I applied for the scholarship of Japanese government scholarship. And then I went to study in Japan for 2 years to pursue my master's degree in computer science. And in 2012, after I graduated from Japan, I went back to Cambodia to be a lecturer at university in Cambodia. I was really proud of myself. I thought that I was on the top of the game. My life is so successful. But then after working for several years, I feel like something is missing. I feel like I can do something more rather than just teaching at university. So that is how mentorship came to my life. And today I would like to share with you the 3 lessons that mentorship helped change my life. So the first one is mentor helped me to see something beyond myself. And second, they helped me increase my self-confidence. And the third, they helped me to stay motivated with my goal. So for the first one, mentor helped me to see something beyond myself. So I work with mentor, and then I realized that my career in STEM completely changed my life. And I have a deep love for underprivileged children, so I want to give back to society. So that is why I decided to be the program manager for the Technovation Cambodia in 2016. We taught younger between 10 to 18 about entrepreneurship and empower them to create their own mobile app. It was so difficult at that time to convince parents to allow their younger to join our program, because it's a social norm in Cambodia that they don't believe that our younger can learn how to code. Despite all the challenges, we were able to get around 50 younger to join the program, and two teams of our younger joined the semi-final round around the world. And later that year in 2017, one of our team went to the final round, and they came to San Francisco in United States to pitch their idea. That is the proud moment for me. So the program has built up their confidence and resilience to dream big for all these kids, change the mindsets of parents and society, and inspire so many more children. So the Technovation Cambodia is still running right now, and it's so popular in Cambodia. And parents, like, they open their mind to allow their young girl to join the program. So lastly, I would like to share with you about Sikieng. She was only 12 when she joined Technovation, and now she dreamed to work at Google. I know that this amazing experience could change her life forever. So that is my experience working in Cambodia. Fast forward in 2016, it was an exciting year. I got married. And I need to move to Singapore with my partner. And at that time, I need to leave everything behind in Cambodia, move to a new country, and I need to find a job over there. So at that time, mentorship really played a big part in my life, because I work with a mentor to help me increase my self-confidence that I can work in Singapore, and they help me to stay motivated with my goal. And within 6 months, I could find a job in Singapore. I work as the curriculum developer and program manager for Saturday Kids, where we teach kid coding from 5 to 15 years of age. But at the same time, our company was hired by Google Singapore to teach 3,000 underprivileged kids in just 2 years. So I still remember one evening when I visited one of the classroom, and I asked Jonathan, who was about 8 years of age, like, how do you feel when you learn to code? And he proudly said, teacher, I'm so happy. It is my first time to use a laptop, and now I can create my own game. I know this might sound simple to you, but at that moment, I almost broke down into tears, because I realized that we have helped these kids to learn new things and open up the whole new world to them. I hope that this experience will help Jonathan and a lot more children in Singapore. So my hope is that by equipping all the underprivileged children across the globe with STEM skills, regardless of whether they come from rich or poor country, we will provide them the tool that they need to see their dreams take flight. So I worked in Singapore for 2 years, and then my husband has been relocated to the United States 4 years ago. And again, I moved to a new country, and at that time I was pregnant. So I decided to stay at home with my daughter for almost 4 years now. And 2 months ago, I sent her to preschool. And now I'm trying to prepare myself to go back to work. And you might guess that I'm currently working with a mentor again, because that will help me to increase my self-confidence that I need to believe that I can find a job in the United States. And they help me to stay motivated with my goal. And I'm sure that I will find a job soon. So yeah, lastly, I hope that by creating more mentorship opportunities, a woman gets to work in any field she chose to, and that we will have a more inclusive and prosperous society. And lastly, I would like to share some of my achievements through mentorship. I can take like one whole day to talk about the benefit of mentorship, but yeah, I would love to open for the Q&A session if you have any question. Yes, these are some of my achievements that because of mentorship, I became the finalist for Women of the Future Award of Southeast Asia. I got the Google Award, and I am also one of the Asia Foundation Fellow. And I was invited to speak like frequently about STEM and women in STEM. Yes, I would love to open floor for the Q&A session. I give the floor back to you, Christina.
Thank you so much, Sikieng, for sharing your journey. It seems like you've done such amazing work in the community, especially in empowering young students to believe in themselves and being able to code. We have some questions in the chat for primarily around how you had approached or found your mentor. What are some of the questions that you had asked, or what did you ask particularly from your mentor, and how was that relationship like?
Oh, thank you for the question. I think before I find a mentor, I think networking is very important. So I joined the group of women in computer science in Cambodia, where I start to know them. And some of them become my role model that I approach them. So I think first we need to do networking so that these people will tell us about mentorship program. And I remember there is a mentorship program in the United States, but I can share you my mistake. So when I first joined the program and became a mentee, I thought that the mentorship is like the mentor need to approach me. I did it wrong. So I just was waiting for my mentor to come and ask me and what are the things that they need to help. So I think one of the experience from that mentorship is not successful because I'm not proactive. So later on, I know about that. I need to be proactive and schedule with them like every 2 weeks so that I have something to talk to them. And so I just like raise my concern, and they help to guide me along the way. And some mentorship program that I attend, they have like the document to fill in. So it's like a complete program that we can fill in, and if any question, we can reach out to mentor to help us. Yeah, but just like just one mistake that I make is like I'm not proactive when I joined the mentorship program early on. So I would suggest that if you just join the mentorship program, like be proactive and to talk to you and ask help from your mentor, and just keep in mind that all our mentors are busy. So yes, just like if you send them an email, they don't reply, like keep following up in the next 2 days. Just keep in mind that they are busy, but they are willing to help us.
Thank you for that tip for our participants today. I think Sandy, would you like to go on mute, unmute yourself maybe to pose this question to Sikieng?
Thanks, Christina, and thanks, Sikieng. It's a fantastic presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed hearing about your STEM journey and what a wonderful one it's been so far. I just was interested if you could talk a little bit more about, as well as being proactive, what were you looking for when you were trying to find mentors at these different phases of your own career? What were some of the attributes or skills or personality? What did you have in mind when you were looking for mentors, and how did you help, find the right kind of mentor for you?
Thank you, Sandy, for the question. Yes, regarding the mentor, back then, I applied for the mentor program, but it's not specific for STEM. It's like for every girl. So at that time, I just looking for someone who can help me, and also someone like who live abroad that I can learn. At the time, I just want to learn like how other people think. I want to learn from their perspective. And move into Singapore, I joined with the mentorship again, but that at that time it's specifically for women in STEM. So I found out the mentorship through we have like the code in like women in coding. I forgot the name, but like women in STEM in Singapore. I joined that program. And at that time, I was looking for someone like is the pioneer, like the STEM woman in Singapore, so that I can look up to. So yeah, I think the first thing that I look for and to be my mentor is someone to be my role model that I can look up to and learn from them. I'm not sure whether I answer your question, Sandy.
Yes, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sikieng, for sharing. We have another question from Mayu. Mayu, do you want to go off mute or would you like for me to read out your question?
Hi, thank you very much for your presentation. That was very inspiring. We are going to the STEM program, making STEM program, and wondering how to encourage mentors to join our program and also make the program sustainable. We would like to know the tips.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you, Mayu. From my perspective, I think a lot of mentors really want to help because I have some of my friends who live in New Zealand, United States, and from Canada. They approach me that, oh, is there anything that I can help to give back to our society? I think they are really want to help, but the only one thing is that they are also busy. So I'm thinking that if we want to have the sustainable mentorship program, we need to design a program that we have a really exact time frame that you need 1 hour per week or 2 hours per week and have something to track the progress. And maybe I think also good to have the feedback form for the mentee and mentor to give us feedback. And as the program coordinator, we need to learn from the feedback and improve the program along the way. And I think when I talk about this, that one idea just came up to my mind. Maybe we can build a community. We can create a community between mentee and mentor. And mentor and mentee, each of them can share the successful story to inspire others. I think this way can help to motivate others to join the program and make it sustainable. I hope you find it useful, Mayu.
Yes, it was very useful. We are trying to make community in Japan too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I don't know, maybe you'd like to elaborate on that, Sikieng, in your teaching, especially with the young students in Singapore and Cambodia. Have you found any useful ways that can help build that community that you mentioned?
Oh, so you mean the community between the kids?
Yes, as well as, perhaps between mentors and participants.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I think in Cambodia we did it very successful for the Technovation program because they have the support from parents. I think they have a very big community in Cambodia right now. They build the first Facebook group and also the Facebook page that allow even parents to get the interview and share it to encourage other parents to join. I think that it's very successful in Cambodia, but for the program that we run as the Code in the Community, we haven't built a community yet in Singapore. So I thought that is a good idea. I should let my ex-boss know about this and build a community around them. But I'm also concerned because they are kids. So I'm not sure whether they are allowed to use social media or to build a community because they are only from the age of 7 to 12, I guess, 7 to 15, I remember. But that's a good idea to build a community around them.
Thanks for sharing. Anthea, do you want to go off mute and ask your question?
Sure. Thanks, Christina. Thanks. Again, I was really inspired by your talk, and particularly I admire your entrepreneurial spirit, moving to a new country and just starting that enterprise so quickly and having it being adopted by Google. That's really, really impressive. But I wanted to ask a little bit more about mentees. I mean, you told that really nice story about the boy, Jonathan, and others. What do you find, young or old, like are there some common traits that you find amongst mentees that would be helpful for mentors to know when they're entering that kind of relationship?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the question. I think because I used to teach like kids, like so my role in Singapore, like there are two parts. One part is to like teach for Saturday kids. So Saturday kids like target the high class people in Singapore. And then at the same time, I also run as a program manager for like Code in the Community for Google. This is like they are from privileged background. So I think the common trait, we need to think of their background. So different people have different needs. So I think the most important thing is to try to understand them and learn about their background. Like for example, when I teach like young girl in Cambodia about innovation program, a lot of young girls they join the program because they really want to like experience coding, use their laptop. But then I also run innovation program for Singapore, but most of the students there is like, I don't really want to use the laptop because they have the laptop at home. They don't really inspire us like the young girl in Cambodia. So I think one of the things that we should like understand our mentee is like to understand their background and what are their needs. Be straightforward with them. I'm not sure is it something you are looking for in here.
No, that's great. I just wondered if you found they lacked confidence, or if there was any, or did you find they were very, they had big ambitions, like if there was anything like those kind of traits that you saw in them?
Oh yeah, I think one of the things that I saw in them is like, I see it less for the girl in Singapore, but I saw it a lot from the girl in Cambodia because they have less confidence. I remember when I talked to them, I tried to go to a public school in Cambodia to talk to them about innovation and competing with other young girls around the world. And they said, no, I will not do it. I cannot do it. And then at that time, they make me like questioning myself as well, like, oh, maybe they cannot do it. But then I try to take the challenge and provide them the training because I need to find a teacher to teach them for 3 months. And then after 3 months, all of 50 young girls can create their own mobile app. So that is the first thing that I truly believe, that if they want to do something and then they make their mind for it, they can do it. So yeah, I think that yes, it was so successful. And then the following years, a lot of young girls come and join the program. So I think our young girls like has less confidence in themselves. And that is the one thing that we need to help them to believe in themselves more.
Thank you. And I think, being there to support them definitely helps in building their confidence. And then, like you mentioned, once that first cohort of young girls were able to build their own mobile apps, the other one cohort feel a lot more confident to take that challenge on. So I think those are some of the examples of just how much, your support and your mentorship definitely changed their lives in ways that they start believing more in themselves. Great. Nikki, I think, would you like to go off mute and just pose your question to Sikieng?
Sure. Thank you for your insightful presentation, Sikieng. I think your experience about moving to a new country really resonated with me. So I guess my question is like, what challenges you experienced with like finding a new mentor when you moved to Singapore, and like were there any like challenges with looking for mentorship opportunities while navigating the new culture of Singapore?
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Yes, so as I mentioned earlier, like when I moved to Singapore, I also like have like less confidence because like English is not my first language, and I don't know whether I can find a job in Singapore. So yeah, I start to join the Women Who Code in Singapore. I was searching on Meetup to find the group, and then I joined that Meetup, and from that I build a connection with them, and they are the one who know a lot about the mentorship and a lot of event in Singapore. So I start with like joining the group of like-minded people, and then from there they tell me about the mentorship that I can apply for, and they share the event that I can join to find a mentor. So yeah, I think this is what I did in Singapore, and I try to do it again in the United States now because I'm trying to get back to work. So I joined the Women Who Code in San Francisco. I try to join their meetup, and I try to build a connection from that. And actually, I've already found my mentor, and I'm currently working with him to help me to go back to work. So to get back to your question, I would start to join with the women who code, or the people who have like the same thing in common, the same interest, and then from that, like they are willing to help us to connect to other mentor or other program that we might interested in.
Great. And I think, you kind of, it's a great segue into our next, like my next question for you. And it's probably something that a lot of the women in the room are able to relate to. And that's particularly around your career break that you have at the moment with, with your caregiving duties with your daughter. How has that break been for you? And how are you finding it now going back into finding a job? Can you speak a little bit more about that experience?
Yes, so it was a hard decision because I love working so much. I mean, like, because I love the work that I help underprivileged children, and I decided to stop working because of my daughter, but I don't regret it because I have my daughter 3.5 years now, and I have a lot of good time with her. And just that I also have like up and down time. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I need to go back to work. I feel like, oh, I just stay at home. I'm feeling useless. But then another thought coming like, oh, you are a good mom. And then she will grow up and I will not have the time with her again. So like, yes, during this almost 4 years have up and down, but finally we made it. During the COVID, it is so hard for us. Yeah, we made it, and she now is back to school. Yeah, I think I made the right decision to stay at home with her for 4 years, and I don't feel regret at all because like now I can go back to work, and I have a feeling that a lot of underprivileged children like are waiting for me to help them, and I'm ready to go back to help them now. I'm just like looking for something that I love to do in the Bay Area to help those kids.
Thank you for sharing that very personal decision that you made. And I'm sure it's not something that's easy. And I'm sure that's something that a lot of the women here relate to, just kind of questioning your decision, whether you had made the right choice. And I'm glad that you've come to a point where you've accepted that. And, it's there's no regrets. There's definitely that time that you spent with your daughter is
Yeah.
you. So, and then kind of going into where you are now in sort of, trying to find employment again and working with a mentor, you mentioned a lot about kind of networking and trying to kind of get your foot in the door with some of, some of these people, some of these organizations. What are some tips that you have for women who are kind of going through that similar experience? What are some tips in terms of networking that would be beneficial? What are some challenges that you're facing in order to re-enter the workforce. I think a lot of us would like to hear more about that experience that you're currently going through.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I can share my story in the United States. I think I did it better when I was in Singapore. Because at that time I just do it like offline. I mean, I try to go to like join the meetup with the women who have the same interest. But now I do it offline and online as well. I try to meet like other women offline, like meetup event in San Francisco. On the top of that, I utilize the Zoom meeting. So I can meet like all other women who have the same interest around the world. So what I currently doing now is like I use LinkedIn. So I was searching for the role like STEM educator or STEM woman. And then as a result, I found like the company, and I did the research on that company. And if I find the role that I'm interested in, we also able to see like who work there. And from that, I try to connect with that person who working in that role and try to have that informational interview with them. So at first, I just feel like I don't want to send out a message to stranger, but then I decided I need to do it. If they don't reply, that is fine. And I was amazed that I reached out to around 10 of them, and around 7 of them replied to me. Because when we stand out, we are saying that we have the same interest, and people are looking to like make connection with people who have the same interest. So they reply me, and then I have an informational interview with them with Zoom. And even now I have like I have 2 friends from like they are stranger in San Francisco. Now that they said that they became my friend now. And like every 2 or 3 weeks we come out to have the coffee drink together. It's like that's what I'm trying to do now, like try to build a connection and like try to let people know that I exist here. So yeah, that is what I'm doing now. And I think one lesson learned from this is that don't be afraid to send an email or reach out to a stranger. If they don't reply, that is fine. Keep reaching out, and you will be surprised that a lot of people are willing to talk to you. Yeah.
That's amazing advice. And I think, a lot of us are quite nervous with putting ourselves out there. But as you mentioned, and in your personal experience, it seems like everyone is more willing to help than you think. So thank you so much for sharing that. Sharifa is asking if you have taken any courses to re-enter the workforce, after being away for 4 years. Do you feel like there are any helpful courses that one can take in order to make themselves more competitive, especially post-COVID?
Yes. So my background in computer science. So but my work as a program manager in Singapore and Cambodia, I didn't have any like certified like program manager, something like that. So I took because I want to be a program manager again. And I found out that when I go through the job description, they are looking for like certified program manager. So I decided to take a course like Google project management course. So when I go through the lesson, I think that I have done all of that, just that I take the course, take a test so that I am certified. So yes, I think if you know that you want to be a program manager, it would be good to take the course and then get the certificate. Or if you want to change the skill, like some of my friends, they love data and they want to be the data analysis. They just take the course, get the certified, and then they are applying for the job. So if you have like any role that have the skill but don't have the certificate, I would recommend to take it. And I take the project management, Google project management certificate from Google.
That's great. And, also part of STEM ConnectHER, as, through our partnership with our corporate partners, there are also resources for capacity and professional development, and some of the certifications are also provided there. So feel free to explore that on our program website as well. And I really liked how you mentioned that, a lot of these competitive skills that we require in this day and age don't really require too much of formal education. It can be done through certifications, and that kind of already puts you in a very competitive position to apply for a lot of the STEM career sort of pathways. I see Isabel is posing a question. Maybe Isabel would like to go off mute. I'd invite you to post your question to Sikieng. Are you there, Isabel?
Sorry, on the other screen, I was looking for my cursor. Yeah, Sikieng, thank you so much for sharing, and a really wonderful journey. And I also come from the tech background. I'm very new to the tech industry. I'm coming back to work after 9 years. I have very bad anxiety. And during my stay at home with my kids, I also found a nonprofit. I think it's a little bit of something what you do, but maybe just 10%. So I do not want to leave that, because I think we have done an amazing job on the nonprofit side, and on entering back the workforce in tech. And I would like your advice on how did you break that anxiety or manage anxiety, if you have any, and also how do you manage your time and your work, and also your previous, I'm sure you won't be leaving that behind, right? I'm sure you'll be working on it as well. So how do you focus your time and energy to what matters to you?
Oh, thank you for the question. Yeah, I have also a lot of like anxiety at the same time, because it's like with the overwork and this kind of stuff. Yeah, I think the priority now is that I'm looking for some. So you mentioned about the work and non-profit job. So currently I'm trying to find a job that I love to work for, because I believe that if I love the job, either it's like for the company or the non-profit, I don't really care much. I just love the job that I do. I will apply for it. And I think if we can find a job that aligns with our interests, it will help us to have less anxiety. And I think maybe I'm very fortunate, because my spouse like play important role in supporting the family, so I don't really like care much about that. Maybe that helped me a lot, because I just like spend time to looking for the job that I love. Yeah, and yeah, I think like I can like I was stressful when I teach. I was the lecturer at university in Phnom Penh. That's why I work as the program manager consultant for Technovation Cambodia. That is where I found my interest. Like I love teaching kids, and I love to help underprivileged children. So yeah, after that, when I moved to Singapore, I tried to find something similar to Technovation. That's why I joined Saturday Kid. And at that time, like because they work for Google to teach 3,000 underprivileged children at that time. So yeah, and again, like I'm trying to looking for something that I love to do. And I believe that if we love it, we will find a way to figure it out and balance our life for it. But regarding that was like before I have the kids. But for now I have the kid, I don't really know what will happen if I go back to work.
Yeah,
So,
exactly, right?
yeah, I think maybe I can answer it after that. I don't really know now, but currently I'm also like doing a lot of meditation, and I try to read book about the mind. Yeah, and the awareness. like I'm reading a book called Awareness, try to understand myself, and it helped a lot. I can share with
Thank you
you
so
the
much.
book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, can. Why not?
Yeah.
Yes, please do. I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with, especially with this digital economy and this digital,
Mhm.
like everything on our phone, we're getting so many notifications left and right. It's important to also be mindful and take that space to be in touch with how you're feeling and take time off if needed. We have about 13 minutes left for the session, so I definitely encourage for any of you that have any additional questions that you would like to pose to Sikieng, please feel free to type it in the chat or go off mute. Sima, I see that you're going off mute. Did you have a question? Sima, are you there? I guess we can also, if you don't mind typing it in the chat, we can also address your questions through there. I wanted to learn a little bit more about the current things that you're working on with your mentor, Sikieng. If you don't mind sharing, what are some things that you have found really helpful, especially at this stage in your career, to work with a mentor? You know, especially things that might not have been too apparent to yourself if you don't have a mentor, or you know, just kind of how that relationship that you have with your mentor now has changed over the years and over, you know, your career progression.
Oh, thank you. So yes, currently I'm working with a new mentor for my job, but I also stay connected with my previous mentor. I send them an email. They are like in Singapore or here, that I'm going to meet them next week. So I send them my like ex-mentor that I am preparing to go back to the workforce, and I would love to catch up with them. And then I meet some of them, and they help me to connect with other people in the Bay Area. So that is one thing that I work with my like ex-mentor. They help me to connect with like the people in San Francisco. So with my new mentor, I like the part that we schedule it to meet every 2 weeks. So after after I meet him, we have the homework to do. So I think like I guess this is very structured for me. I mean, I have something to do, and every 2 weeks I meet him to report, and I have something to do to reach out my goal. And whenever I feel lost or something, I just send him an email that I'm feeling lost, and then we catch up and talk about our goal. And he helped me to remind about my goal that I can do it, and just make myself like be more confident that I can go back to the workforce here, even though I don't like have working experience here. Yeah, so yeah, I love the part that to summarize, I think I love the part that working with a mentor is like there is a structure there that I can follow, and he helped me to stay motivated and be confident on myself. He asked me to write down a note that I'm confident that I can get the work here and put on the wall so that I can look at it every day to help me stay motivated and focus on my goal.
Oh, that's amazing. I like that tip of putting that on the wall and looking at reminding yourself that you are you're able to do what you want to do. That's amazing. I guess I'm not sure. I see. Okay, here we go. Sima has a question. Oh, I think she was just thanking you about sharing your experience and you know, just having that time off from work and taking care of your child and how that decision is difficult. So they appreciate you for sharing that story.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think you know what you mentioned a little bit about, which is having that formal like mentorship structure, is something that, you know, STEM ConnectHER is also aiming to provide to our participants, meeting with your mentor, at a frequency that you are able to set, and being proactive in setting that structure for the mentorship is important, so that you get the most out of it as well. And Thea's asking, will our other mentors and mentees be able to access this wonderful session on the STEM ConnectHER website? Will it be more available publicly? Yeah, so the recording for this session will also be up on the web, on the text platform. I should be able to send everybody a quick note after this to send you to that events page where you can see a lot of our exciting stuff, exciting events that's coming up. Maybe, I think we are almost at the end of our session, and I also wanted to allow some space for Sikieng to share just, final comments about, what advice you would give to women who are starting out their career in STEM, who are going to re-enter the workforce in STEM. What advice would you feel is useful for our participants?
Oh, thank you. So I think I can give advice to my younger self, like that what are the mistakes that I have done, that I'm not proactive when I was a mentee. So if I were you, probably I would be proactive and just be direct with your mentor, like what you want to get out of the mentorship. And bear in mind that our mentors are busy, they are really busy. So try to follow up with them. Yes, one thing is to be proactive. The second thing is like be open to learn new things. Don't judge anything, whether it's like, oh, it's a good mentor, it's not a good mentor. It's like, don't judge everything, just be open to learn new things. And I'm sure that you will get the most of the program. So is that the question? Sorry.
No, that's great. I think that's good to conclude our session for today. I have noted some notable advice that was shared by you, particularly around mentorship and the need for our mentees to be proactive, and putting in that feedback and is important for us to improve our mentoring relationships, especially informal mentorship structures. And then also having that structure that you can also set with your mentors if you'd like to meet with them every week or every 2 weeks. Yeah, that's also very, very important, as you mentioned. And then I think you also covered the importance of networking and how it's important for us to put ourselves out there and just try and find common grounds with people that you'd like to reach out to. And yeah, that there's more people out there that are willing to help you in your journey than you might think. So just be proactive in making those connections as well. And I think before we conclude our remarks, I would just like to also, end with some upcoming events for STEM ConnectHER. And, a lot of the things that Sikieng had shared today are things that we hope to be able to provide through our program. We obviously, as you know, are working with 5 different countries. It's a regional network of networks. So feel free to explore the website, the platform that we have put in place. Firstly is to complete your profile. Once you complete your profile, I think people are more open to reaching out to you and seeing and being able to find those common grounds that was mentioned by Sikieng today. That's one. And then once that's set up, feel free, you don't need to wait until the launch for you to be able to reach out to your mentors or other mentees. You're welcome to explore the site and get in touch with anyone who are already on the site and start making those connections. And then lastly, we do have a lineup of exciting events that's leading up to the launch itself. So I mentioned at the beginning of this call that our launch is scheduled on Tuesday, October 11th. And it would be great to have all of you join that launch event, as we will be speaking with our corporate partners. So we hope to have a lot of representation from there, and just kind of learning, from that aspect, from the private sector aspect, what are some strategies that they have in place to empower early in career women in STEM. So that event is coming up, but we also have a onboarding session for mentors that's coming up next week. And then if you feel that you would like to increase your skills in becoming a mentor, we also have a session with Arabella the following week on October 6th. Where we will kind of go through some tips to become an effective mentor, particularly in the context of the STEM ConnectHER program. So yeah, I think that's the end of everything that I have to say. Thank you so much, as well to Sikieng for sharing her personal journey. I'm sure we're all kind of related to it on some levels, going through all of the decisions that she has made as well throughout her journey as a woman in STEM. I'm sure is something that we have benefited from hearing as well. So thank you so much for joining us today. And please do spread the word about STEM ConnectHER. If you have anyone that you feel might benefit from this mentorship, from the speaker series, as well as the resources for leadership and professional development that we have lined up on the website, we would welcome that. And don't be shy to get in touch with us and find ways that we can collaborate. Thanks again, everyone, and have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye.